What is going on, Rovers? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a massive update to talk about. If you've been keeping an eye on the version 3.1 horizon, you know the leaks have been trickling in, but today the floodgates just opened. We are looking at some very specific, very significant changes to the upcoming kits for Aemeath and Luuk Herssen. Plus, and this is the big one, guys, a complete game changer for how we farm and tune echoes. Now, before we jump into the numbers, I have to give the standard disclaimer. Everything we are talking about today is based on the latest 3.1 beta leaks. Nothing is set in stone until Kuro Games drops that official patch notes list. So please, take all of this with a grain of salt. Things can change, numbers can get tweaked, but if these stick, the meta is about to shift. We've got a lot to cover: buffs, reworks, and the new transducer system. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's break this down. Buy 6,480 Lunites with 3.0 limited pack for only $82 at lootbar.gg. Returning users get an extra 5% off coupon. Link in the description. Let's kick things off with Aemeath. If you were worried about her kit feeling a little lackluster in previous leaks, you can breathe a sigh of relief because she is a site that gives you big discounts on your in-game purchases. The first major adjustment is to her inherent Wuthering waves as an example. The Heavenfall Edict finale. You can actually see the price difference the leak right data showed this granting a 20% defense. The process is super simple. That's gone. Pick the pack you want. It has been completely replaced with a straight-up 25% damage amplification. Your rewards show up right on your account. Defense Ignore is great. Your login info is completely cleared, but damage amplification is generally a much clearer, more universally useful 21% off in the way Wuthering waves calculates damage from the link in the description. It removes the nuance of enemy defense stats first-time top-up bonuses are available as well. It feels like Kuro is trying to make her damage output more consistent across different types of content. But the buffs aren't just about raw numbers. They're about how she feels to play. We're seeing some serious quality-of-life changes to her basic attacks. Specifically, her mid-air attack and her dodge counter. Both of these actions will now recover synchronization rate. This is huge for her rotation flow. In previous iterations, if you were in the air or dodging, you were essentially pressing pause on your resource generation. Now, you're building that meter even while playing defensively or aerially. It's going to make her flow in extended fights feel so much smoother. Let's talk about her ultimate, her Resonance Liberation. It's getting stronger. The base damage multiplier for Heavenfall Edict Overdrive has been increased, but the number that really caught my eye is the Concerto value. For both of her liberations, the Concerto value has been doubled. It was 10, and now it's been bumped up to 20. That is a noticeable upgrade. Higher Concerto means faster rotations, easier team swapping, and just a snappier feel to her gameplay loop. If you are planning to whale or maybe just get lucky with some copies, her resonance chains are looking spicy. RC1 is all about comfort. It now provides better synchronization rate regeneration, again, reinforcing that smooth gameplay loop. But RC3? That's where things get crazy. At Resonance Chain 3, the Heavenfall Edict Overdrive gets a massive 40% damage multiplier increase. That is a huge spike in burst potential. On top of that, Heavenfall Edict Finale, at RC3, inherits that same buff we talked about earlier. The damage amplification from her Inherent 2 applies here as well. When you combine all of this, Aemeath is shaping up to have a very rewarding, overdrive-focused gameplay loop. One final note on Aemeath before we move on: her signature Echo Sigillum. If you have this equipped in the main slot, the buff has been tweaked. It used to give a 20% Resonance Liberation damage bonus. That has been buffed to 25%. It's a simple 5% increase, sure, but it lines up perfectly with the rest of her kit tuning. Alright, let's shift gears to Luuk Herssen. If Aemeath got some polish, Luuk got a bit of an overhaul. There are quite a few interesting adjustments here. Let's look at his Inherent Skill 2. The old version was a bit conditional. It amplified damage by 15%, only if the target had 3 stacks of Tomb Strain. That's gone. The new version is much more team-oriented. Now, whenever nearby team resonators deal break damage, Luuk gains a 25% attack increase for 20 seconds. This is a fascinating pivot. It moves him away from being a purely selfish carry who worries about his own stacks, and synergizes him with teammates who can shred those vibration bars. It makes him feel much more consistent and team-reliant. His survivability and aerial game are also getting some love. His mid-air basic attack now reduces damage taken by 15%. But more importantly for you combo lovers out there, his mid-air attack combo will no longer reset if Luuk is the active resonator. This is a massive fix. There is nothing more annoying than your aerial combo resetting just because of a mechanic quirk. This should make his aerial gameplay feel way less punishing. Speaking of aerials, let's look at his forte circuit. When he uses his mid-air attack, Gavel of Earthshaker, it now fully restores stamina upon landing. Let me repeat that. Fully restores stamina. That is huge for maintaining momentum. You can go up, do your aerial string, slam down with the gavel, and land with a full tank of gas to dodge or start sprinting immediately. Other tweaks to his kit include his resonance skill, which now buffs resonance liberation damage by 25%, up from 20%. And his E-core blades have been tidied up. They are no longer affected by damage bonuses and won't trigger if there are no enemies nearby. It's a more controlled design, so you aren't wasting resources on empty air. Now, we have to talk about his weapon, because this thing has been completely reworked. Here's the new breakdown. Dealing basic attack damage now grants a 20% spectro damage bonus for 4 seconds. Short duration, but easy to maintain if you're aggressive. Here is the complex part. Every time you inflict Tomb Strain shifting on a target, you gain 2 things. First, a 20% basic attack damage amplification. Second, your basic attacks will ignore 10% of the target's defense for 6 seconds. When you look at the weapon and the kit together, it's very clear what Kuro is doing. They are pushing Luuk hard into a sustained basic attack playstyle. He wants to be on the field, swinging, triggering those spectro bonuses, and shredding defense. Okay, hold on to your seats, because this next part is arguably more exciting than the characters. We are finally getting a system to fix bad echo rolls. This is the new Echo Substat Locker and Roll feature, officially called the Transducer. This is a big one, folks. Here is how it works. You can use a transducer to re-roll a selected substat on a fully tuned 5-star echo. But the magic happens with the locking system. You can lock specific substats to exclude them from the reroll pool. So if you have an echo with double crit but 3 garbage stats, you can lock the double crit and reroll the garbage. Locked substats are completely protected. This is absolutely huge for min-maxing your builds. The cost breakdown. Of course, there is a cost, and it scales based on how safe you want to be. If you lock 0 to 2 substats, it costs 1 transducer. If you lock 3 substats, it costs 2 transducers. If you lock 4 substats, meaning you are targeting that one final stat for perfection, it costs 3 transducers. And here is the best part. After you re-roll, you get to choose. You can either keep the new result or discard it. No more bricking an echo instantly. However, be warned, if you discard the result, the transducers you used are not refunded. So there is still a risk of wasting resources, but at least you don't ruin the echo itself. Where do we get transducers? According to the leaks, they will be available in 3 places: the weekly subscription, the Moonlight Path, the item exchange store. In the store, you can pick up 2 transducers for 30 Afterglow Coral each. If you're desperate, you can buy up to 99 of them, but the price doubles to 60 Afterglow Coral each per version. That is pricey, so manage your corals wisely. So, that wraps up everything we've seen so far for version 3.1. We've got Aemeath moving toward a smoother, damage-amplified playstyle. We've got Luuk Herssen evolving into a team-synergistic aerial stamina machine with a basic attack-focused weapon. And finally, the transducer system, which is going to save so many headaches when it comes to echo farming. It really is an interesting mix of buffs, reworks, and quality-of-life improvements. It's exciting to see these systems evolving this way. I want to know what you guys think. Is the transducer system enough to fix your echo farming woes? Are you pulling for Aemeath or Luuk based on these changes? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown or learned something new, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you don't miss future updates. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and stay hyped. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Buy 6,480 Loonites with 3.0 limited pack for only $82 at lootbar.gg. Returning users get an extra 5% off coupon. Link in the description.